All right. It seems I'm supposed to talk a little bit more than I ordinarily do about certain things today. Now, like I said, just on the last video, if you watched that, since the pandemic at least, I got a laptop and I've been coming across, different fitness people. One of them, Kali Muscle, who just finished talking about a little bit. Now, yeah, you can see it just, if you watch his videos, yeah, he's a kind of edgy kind of dude, prison background, street dude, and all them kind of things. Fine, no problem. I don't have a problem with people like that. He said some weird stuff sometimes, he's dude entitled to his personal opinion. Has it affected me? Have I stopped doing what I do? No. Should it stop y'all? I don't know. Maybe. Depends on what he's saying that might affect y'all. I don't know. But he's apparently now catching quote unquote, we'll call it flack from different fitness people or whatever they want to call themselves, beings. If they ain't even real, they can't call them people. God made people. These things then clone themselves and figure they fitness enthusiasts because they got a scientific body anyway. What Steve Harvey said, carry they scientific, you know what, so you don't want them anyhow. Anyway, watching this dude here seemed to be going at Kali Muscle or something like that, saying something about what he's saying, he's fake and all these kind of things and all kind of stuff. Uh, I know real when I see it. Sir, Mr. Mom, looking like Natasha Brown, Brown Natasha, Naughty Brown, Brown Naughty, whatever you want to call yourself. Pedro the kickboxer, something behind him. Make up your mind, whatever you is. But uh, why you trying to comment on people lifting fake weights and trying to seem like they more than they are, or if they are? Uh, were you there to see what those weights was actually was? You claiming he was lifting fake weights, trying to make it seem like he was lifting that? You see how big that dude is? Let's put things in perspective here. I have never been on a scale as weighing more than that I could remember. Let's say 230 pounds. And when I was that weight, that was when I was deconditioned after the whole insomnia situation, where I had pretty much shut down and stopped exercising as I would ordinarily would. I didn't say I stopped moving, but I'd stopped exercising, lifting weights and stuff like that for about 3 years until I was able to actually start sleeping again. So for me, that meant only going to the park and walking, a couple of laps around the park, Goodman's Bay, if y'all know where that is, twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, walk a couple of laps, literally take my time and walk a couple of laps. There was times where I could maybe do, I don't know, a set of 5 push-ups, maybe 10 push-ups, 5 squats a day, weightless squats, 10 weightless squats, maybe once, sometimes twice a week, if that. Couple of sit-ups, 10 sit-ups, maybe 5 sit-ups sometimes. A plank for maybe, I don't know, a couple of seconds, nothing major. Wasn't trying to push it. I started to feel my heart mess with me, so I had to ease up. But just saying, at my heaviest, I had estimated myself at one point to be maybe close to 250 pounds. I figured the scale was off at some point because I know how I had to buy clothes. I'd gone from wearing like maybe a 32 pants, ordinarily like a 34 pants, to like a size 36 pants when I wouldn't say I was at my strongest, but this was Orlando time, so this was like my heaviest lift in Orlando. I remember I'd put 3 plates. We call them plates. If you call them, 45-pound plates. I had put 3 plates on the actual bar. Getting ready to lift it, I'd warmed up to it, trying for a 1 rep max, quote unquote. And this was at the little, what you call it, the gym right across from the Magic Center. They had a little gym, community center across there I started going to. I can't remember if I actually pushed it or not. Something told me maybe I didn't push it, but anyway, at the heaviest I know I had on an incline, 245s and a 35 that I actually did 2 reps with in another gym across the street from this other place. I can't remember the name of the place, but that's irrelevant. At the time, I had not known myself to be more than maybe 100, 195 pounds at that point. Now, there was somebody in the gym I think I lifted. Maybe there was cameras or not. When I had the 3 plates on in the gym, just as I was about to lift it, there was only 1 or 2 other people in there, but they all got up and left. So I had never lifted that much before, but I had pushed the two and 35s just recently before that. So I was like, I should be able to push this because incline is harder than regular flat bench. But like I said, I can't remember if I pushed it or not. But anyway, that wasn't the end of my fitness journey. Came home. Like I said, y'all know the situation about me being brought home and coming home or whatever. Anyhow, I was inside the detention center. Still found my way to exercise. They didn't have weights, but at the first place at Chrome, there was a pull-up bar and they had a soccer field. So I used to do pull-ups, and at some point I had, gotten into, met a couple of people that I was fairly comfortable with. I'm going to suggest everybody do this, but I used to let them, sit on my shoulders and stuff like that, and I'd do my squats. So I was able to keep up with somewhat of my fitness, let them sit or kneel on my back sometimes or push on my back so I could, simulate a bench press. So I was able to somewhat keep up with my fitness. And I came home and I went to the gym that I ordinarily used to go to, Blake Road, the community center there. And one of the first things I did was just check to see what that type of actual workout actually did. Before I left, I was doing, with the Smith machine they had there, 245s on one side and 25. And I was doing that for 10 reps before I went to the States for 4 years. For 10 reps, I would say fairly decent. It was a struggle, but a straight 10 reps for the most part, or maybe a 8 and then catch another 2. I think I remember doing a straight 10 though. So that was definitely real weight. People go back and forth with saying how much the Smith bar is sometimes lighter. Somebody said it's sometimes heavy. When it's nothing on it, it feels light. It'll actually, you push it up, it'll actually go up by itself if you kind of push it up. Once you put weight on it, it feels different. But anyway, that was that. The plates was real, whatever it is. So got to the States and like I said, I was pushing 2 2 3/4 by the time I was over there for 4 years. Came home, went to the same gym I ordinarily did, and wanted to do a 1 rep max. You could hear Callie in the background talking about how these dudes be saying whatever they want to be saying when they naysaying. They do this with a lot of fitness people who go against the grain and decide to, only be natural, or if they were on supplements, decide to be natural and go against the, steroids, cheaters. I call them cheaters. That's what they was known more back in my day. Taking steroids, you're cheating. We don't need to cheat. But anyway, I came home, Blake Road. I remember, like I said, I had the 245s and the 25s on there. So I started warming up. Put the 2 plates on. Easy. They had a 35-pound on. Put that on. Couple of reps. Easy. They had a 32-pound plate or something like that. Threw it out on top of that. Repping out. Easy. Went ahead and put on, and those were full reps, by the way. That I can't remember if I was doing 10, and maybe I was doing 10 of those. I was just more or less just cranking, just seeing what I was left, working to 1 rep max. I threw a 25-pound on top of that. And I didn't do full reps, but I did partial reps, like probably 4 or 5 reps. Now let's add that up. 245s on either side. 245s, 90. 35 pounds, that's 125. It's a 32 or 33, so that would be what, 152 or 153? Let's say 152 of actual weights, and then times that by 2. So we're talking about 300, quote unquote, 304 pounds with just weights. Now, I didn't go on the scale and measure the weights, but I just assume that that's what they are. Since coming home and, like I said, going through what I've been through, the sleeplessness and all of that or whatever, there's been times where I go in there, especially without having lifting weights regularly. I've dropped down to sometimes just barely maxing out with maybe 2 reps or so, 3, 4 reps or so in there with the actual Smith machine with just 2 plates on it. When I go to another gym, I used to go to Fantasy sometimes. I went there for about 2, 3 years after I started getting better. And I had gotten back up to on the flat bench doing at least 1 or 2 reps. I know I had the 2 plates and the 35-pound plates on there again for at least 1 rep. Maybe 2, I can't remember. But I know I was back up to doing, at least on the flat bench without the Smith machine, regular bench, 10 reps with 2 plates and the 25 per side. And weighing, at that point, I had got a little chunky, like I said, during that point, 220 something at my heaviest, official heaviest. Clinking weights in the gym with witnesses and stuff like that. So, why is it when you go to this Blake Road Community Center sometimes, the Smith machine has cables on it? What I found out also, when you go to some of these gyms, because everybody want to be scientific and think they studying, got somebody to study, they want to know why God's people do what we do. They want to study instead of actually putting in the work to see what they could actually, learn and gain from it. I found out from one of my college professors when I was away that some of these gyms you go to, when you see it labeled as a certain weight, those are not always actual weights. So when you hear somebody say fake weights, don't think they're talking necessarily plastic. I came to find out that some of those weights have apparently been twice the amount they've been labeled as, specifically with the mind to actually be scientists, to study something, study people. So there's been places where you go to the gyms and you notice sometimes some gyms you lift heavier than others. Sometimes you're lifting twice as much as what you think you're lifting. Not all of those plates are made of the same material, you will find. Some of them have rubber covers so you can't necessarily see what's under them. Some of them are just typically not made all of the same type of metal or metal compounds or complex, whatever you want to call them. So make a habit of, if you really want to know what you're lifting, make a habit of finding a gym with an actual scale. Grab your plates, weigh yourself, and put your plates on the scale. Either way, either weigh your skates if it's sensitive enough to weigh your plates. See what they say. The other thing you're going to notice, if you're a heavy lifter, that if you look at your barbells, the long bars, you will notice that some of the Olympic bars, which is what they use typically for heavy lifting, you look at the end of them, you'll notice some of them seem to have like a little, it seems almost like an insert at the end of the bar. Standard bar weight is 45 pounds on average, unless you're in competition. Sometimes you can find them up to 55 pounds, I think possibly even 65 pounds. But for standard lifts, the bars are usually 45 pounds alone. Now, when you go inside of those other gyms, you're going to notice sometimes those bars may seem a little heavier. Like I said, I have never put them on the scale that I can remember, but you can look at the end of some of those bars and see that there are sometimes apparently inserts that may be removable and replaceable or interchangeable, and those can add or take away weight from the actual bar. So once again, you do not know if when you put your regular weights on, if you're even lifting a normal bar. So, like I say, when you see people lifting, and this guy here, Beast Mode Jones or whatever he's calling himself, claiming people lifting fake weights, uh, I don't know how to tell you this, but there's some strong people out there that are just some naturally strong, and some have just put in the work to be strong anyway. You expect big dudes to, be strong. But just saying, I'm a little guy, well, or a regular sized guy, and lifting what I lifted, how I was lifting it. How y'all gonna question somebody that's close to 300 pounds with the muscle mass that they have and claim that because they got 5 plates on the bar, that it ain't real? Like y'all never seen nobody lift 5 plates before? So if there's a possibility that 300 and something pounds that I thought I had on the bar, suppose what the professor actually said was true. It did seem to be true, and I'll tell you why. If that was the case, I was lifting with the bar close to 700 pounds. Bench press, natural, no steroids, at the heaviest, close to 200 pounds, 190, 195. So, like I said, I'll tell you why I said it. There's a machine I was in the gym. Around the time when the gym I went to kind of got really scarce. Like people, it was real crowded at first. Then after that particular workout day, I noticed it kind of thinned out a bit. Why? Who knows? People studying you and they realize you may have been studied. They may not necessarily want to be around you and feel comfortable that, hey, you was being experimented on. Oh well, I was right next to this guy lifting on a flat bench. He was on the regular flat bench. I was on some kind of machine, loading up weights, doing my workout, because I kind of liked how it felt as far as twerking the muscles. Heavy is heavy, but I just like how this particular machine actually worked the muscles anyhow. 1 plate on one side, 2 plates on one side, 3 plates on each side. And as he's lifting, he got up to 2 plates, as if to say, I don't know if he was saying if it was heavy or if he was trying to tell me something. I was just watching him lift, and he was watching me lift. He put 3 plates on the actual bar. I put 3 plates on the other apparatus. He went at 3. I don't know if he went heavier than that. I put 4 plates on the actual apparatus. Then I put 5 plates on the actual apparatus. Then I put 5 and 25. Then I put 5 and 35. And I either did 1 or 2 reps with the 5 or 25 after the guy got up and walked out of the gym, as if he realized that he was lifting something that wasn't right. So there is some truth to this, quote unquote, fake weights. Don't think it means plastic. Sometimes, like I said, you lifting way more than you think you lifting. Somebody say you stronger than you think you are. Yes, weigh your own stuff. These guys you see in these bodybuilding competitions that's deadlifting 900, 1,000 pounds. You see these other guys when they in there naturally pushing 700 pounds and they massive. Then you see other guys like what's the big real powerlifting dude, Mendelson, Scott Mendelson, I think is his name. This dude benching over 1,000 pounds. Now, mind you, he's using protective straps and stuff like that. But if we pushing at close to 200 pounds, close to 700 pounds, naturally, no steroids, why do you think these bigger dudes can't be pushing close to 1,000 pounds and they training for it? I was just lifting, comfortably just to lift, doing my full body workout style for the most part when I was doing them days. I did my regular splits trying to see if I could bulk and stuff like that. And I said for about 2-3 years after, starting to sleep again and trying to see if I could gain some muscle mass. So I actually did split workouts for a bit again. When I say work on focused muscle groups, not doing all full body sets. It ain't impossible for these dudes. What's so mysterious with this dude putting 5 plates on with the size he has? Why that's supposed to be spooky or mysterious? or this dude all up and down now talking fake weights and this that. Y'all watch what y'all saying, man, because the truth does hurt. I mean, in general, sometimes if you're against it, so you can imagine how the lies does hurt. If you want to maintain lies, you can lie, it'll hurt yourself, hurt your reputation. Dudes like that, like I said, there ain't no telling if you're gonna that dude gonna decide to say, hey, physically shut y'all up. And you listen to him talk on his stuff. He has, anyway. Yeah, y'all go check his actual his history, his background. Y'all don't know who y'all be talking to. People take certain things sensitive when you're talking about their reputation and their livelihood. Uh, so yeah, y'all stop with the fakeness and open your eyes to the reality. Sometimes these people will invite you to their places and work out with them, so you could see. So you don't have to be one of them kind of people that will guess and naysay. The devil is a naysayer. Why? Because he's a liar. He can't take the truth. He literally can't take the truth. And when his science loses, he want to throw hissy fits and call names and all this, that, and the next thing and bring up false past and create false futures and invent false histories. No, them weights clinking. Clink, clink, clinking. And clacking. I ain't guessing that. Now, if he on something, well, I mean, he's still on something. And that's even more reason if you know he's saying that he on something. Why guess if he flicking with the size he is pushing what he pushing? Steroids or no steroids? Anyway, just something to think about. For those of y'all that seem to only want to know how to think instead of do.